really good push knives against Scout because, quite frankly, Scout sucks when there's 5 heroes all grouped together. He really doesn't do much besides maybe go and farm, but we really don't see farming style Scouts too much. Sure, he'll get pretty good farm eventually, but mostly he's ganking. But anyway, the draft is going on
Well,
here.
yeah, I mean, you talk about we don't usually see farm, but how about this game? I mean, they do pick up Lodestone on top of the Scout, so maybe there is a chance that we could see more of that short laning farming Scout here. With the Ophelia even on top of that, as a result of that Lodestone pick. Again, not guaranteed by any means, but something to keep in mind here as it progresses
Yeah, I
on.
mean, you certainly could. It's still viable. I've seen TMSR run Scout, and he'll usually be in the short lane just farming, and then he kind of takes over that farming role. But
Yeah.
um, certainly in the past, though, we do see him in the suicide role. But yeah, I agree. He can be viable in terms of that. He farms insanely fast, and he definitely has the capability to be fairly active in the early game. Sure, it's not that easy to get into a 5v5 team fight, but that's not to say he's like a Mage Bane who, has like a sustainer and boots. He can have early Ghost Marchers. He definitely dishes out some fantastic damage, along with the utility from the ultimate and the silence. But speaking of 5v5 team fight, Breaky, we got an NG Flux, so Scout might have to be a little worried about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not an easy combination of heroes to go up against. And actually, you look at the bans too. A couple of interesting ones. First of all, the Glacius here on the Hellborn side, maybe because they have a rally, don't want to give them that immobilize ability with the freeze, of course. Kraken though banned by Team Excellent, and you talk about that Engineer Flux combination. I mean, that's more of even the old school of that combo. You also throw a Kraken on there, and it was great back. I mean, it's still great, and that's not to say it's not great nowadays, but it definitely hasn't been picked up in a long time. So, kind of out of left field there, but at the same time, maybe doing a little bit of research. Maybe Donkey Kong has been playing that Kraken even recently. I will say, after the Runic Shift patch, Kraken actually made a little bit of a splash back onto the competitive scene with changes to items like Elder Parasite and whatnot. But haven't seen him in a while. But
It's true, but yeah, like when we saw him, he usually was combined up with Flux. I believe it was QSQ that ran Flux, Kraken, and Forsaken Archer lineup. So, yeah, I mean, I think that is exactly why Pew took out Kraken, just the AoE synergy there. Even Wretched Hag is pretty similar. Fade, probably not quite as much, but regardless, yeah, it probably is aimed at that Flux. In terms of the Hellborn fans, yeah, Glacius. I can agree. Of course, Glacius could be a good pick against Ophelia, but overall, it is a great counter to Rally. I think I've talked about this before, but we would used to pick Glacius as a counter to Rally back in DreamHack. But anyway, Torture, Impasse, so really prioritizing banning these support heroes. It's a trend I've noticed that in the second stages of bans, usually what most captains will do is just simply ban out all the powerful heroes in a certain role that the other team has not really filled yet. So
yeah,
as a result, all the support, well, not all the support heroes, but quite a few support
yeah.
heroes are eliminated by Donkey Kong. So we got a Luna picked up in terms, speaking of support heroes, then Master of Arms. So denying the MOA Ophelia makes sense, and then Gemini. xCet, I know they really like to run these kind of off the wall short lane farmers. I mean, I've seen them run Dampier, Soul Stealer. I've seen them run Gemini as well, and had some pretty good success with it. So we'll have to see how Nox does on this Gemini. I expect him to get Searing Light.
Well, that's for one. But also, too, is that making that point, Nox is back. Obviously, we casted the earlier match for Team Excellent, and apparently that was Flensmeister ringing for them. His name, as he's known as, was I Catch Arrows, but we were told that it was Flensmeister. Anyways, he was playing in that first series. Nox looks like he's able to make it, though, for this semifinal matchup. So, looking strong there. And I will say, Nox, again, they had I believe Team X had the most games in the Diamond Division, at least. They had something like 17 games, and Nox averaged something like 510 goal per minute. The tournament stats tab not working right now for whatever reason, but it was something like 510 goal per minute through all those games. I mean, that's just, when you think about that, that's a pretty absurd number. Diamond Division quality team, so it's not like, it was a runovers by any means, and able to still farm very, very, very well. So, good to be playing the Gemini here, as you said, the Searing Light, Energizer into Searing Light, a very likely possibility. But yeah, I'm also very intrigued. I mean, as far as the lanes go, it seems like I guess we still are going to see the Suicide Scout in the end coming out here with maybe
Yeah, I
like
think it's going to be. Suicide Scout, Lodestone mid, and then
Huh.
if a Luna goes, I mean, Lodestone with a Luna is still fine lane. I remember before TDM kind of broke up. I remember Zai would play Lodestone with Fitsky in the mid lane, and they had a lot of success running that as a dual lane. But yeah, we definitely do see him more as a solo role
Yeah.
because levels benefit him quite immensely, much more than farm. So yeah, I'd kind of expect to see that. Of course, we do have the Hellborn team running down as well. 4 even Flux is a little late to the party. Looks like B-Kid. B-Kid never comes, but yeah, I mean the Hellborn definitely has the potential for an aggressive tri-lane. And here we go, Scout gonna run into right all of them, but he did actually pick up the Invis. I'm just scouting them out, and will Excellent choose to initiate on this. It doesn't look like it. They're running for their freaking lives.
Well, I mean, they know it's only 4. They definitely have the numbers advantage here. But yeah, not gonna risk it in the end. But you made a point there that Bassett's clearly going to Vanish first, passing up the Electric Eye opportunity here. Now, granted, they aren't going up against a jungler, so maybe that's the biggest reason as to why. If they were going up against jungler, maybe a different story. But not happening here, so instead going to Vanish, scouting things out, living up to his name. And in the end, we see the final result. Now, how about this decision by Donkey Kong? Interesting lanes coming out from them, actually. Rally mid, Flux top. And what could possibly be an aggressive tri-lane bottom, it looks like, is what we're going to end up seeing, actually. That's very interesting here. Well, what would you make of this decision here?
Well, they definitely have the capability for it. And here we go. They might. No, Magnus just that level 1 stun. Not going to be in range. So nice counter ward coming out from actually, wow,
a double whammy.
1 ward.
Yeah.
That has got to be depressing for the Hellborn team.
Scout
I think this tri-lane hinged a lot on stopping Ophelia from really being able to help, but unfortunately their wards already countered. And man, I almost want to say I wish Rally was down here instead of Magnus. I feel like his capability in the long lane is much more powerful than a Magnus, and Magnus would do just fine against Lodestone in the mid lane. In fact, he'd probably win that pretty easily. So in terms of this tri-lane, I'd like to see Rally here instead, but it is a very powerful tri-lane. I think at level 2, if they can get a stun off, it's going to be pretty much a kill onto a Luna if Pew gets caught out here. But Fine, by the way, picked up a Minotaur, so lucky spawn there. Great creep to have this early in the game, and he is just kind of camping down here, trying to help them gain some form of lane control. You know, they do have the pull unblocked, but they did not choose to stack it, unfortunately. But yeah, I think the Hellborn, they've got lane control now, so they're going to be okay. But I mean, Nox really isn't farming right now. I think this lane right now is going pretty well for them, even though I really think the rally down here would be even better.
Yeah, no, I definitely see what you're saying there. I think, yeah, exactly. The rally as instead of the Magnus, maybe the better choice in the end. But still, the big picture as far as is it accomplishing what they want out of it so far? I mean, it's still very, very early on, not even 2 minutes in fact. But, I mean, as you mentioned, Gemini being played by Nox, you know, he isn't having the best of starts. And, you know, the middle lane matchup, Rally versus Lodestone in this case, seems like it could go back and forth if anything. Rally 6-1, Lodestone 7-3 currently, so that's exactly what it's doing. And then you have your top lane matchup, Flux versus Scout. Not a matchup you would see really too often, but Flux with that range advantage, you know, the magnetic surge harassment as well. But it seems like Bassett's playing Scout at the same time. You know, he's not too worried about getting killed necessarily, as there's the release coming out, but of course uses the vanish, and he is going to be fine. So, go figure. It seems like as far as the other lanes go, this is where you're going to run this tri-lane here. If you're the Legion side, I mean, if you're going to be ran with the tri-lane at you, you definitely want to make sure your solo's at least having a good time. And it seems like it's at least a pretty good start. And then you have the jungle factor, of course, in Ophelia. So, gonna look.
Yeah, I think Flux should probably dominate this lane. So far, it's pretty even, but Scout now is out of region, so he's gonna need to get some more if he wants to continue to stay in this lane. So, otherwise, he has a pretty good creep score, but he definitely paid for it with using all of those tangos. And I don't know if he really expected to go up against a Flux with this build. I think it was more of a just go around and roam kind of build if he was up against a lane that was hard to farm in. But in the middle lane, a little bit of back and forth here, but yeah, both these heroes pretty tanky. I think this matchup is probably pretty even since they nerfed Rally's extra damage from the, what's it called, battle experience. I think in the past Rally would have won pretty easily, but now it's probably quite even. So as the lanes develop, it looks like Nox is only about 5 creep kills compared to a 10 creep kill Magmus, so they're really not getting much down here at all. Ophelia is here. Unfortunately, it's just with a Vagabond leader, and Nox does not have enough mana for the stun, unfortunately. Overestimating how much mana he has there, so Engineer will be able to escape, but yeah, pretty passive so far. No openings for Ophelia really to set up any kills anywhere. Bottom rune, though, looks like it's going to be a bit of a war for who's going to get it.
Well, there you go. Ophelia boxes him out. Sure enough, picks up the refreshment. Lodestone going to pick up the regen rune, actually. Bottle it up, even, at the top side, so I'm sure he's going to be able to make some good use of that. Will he go in right here? Nope, not going to even harass. No bottle charges currently on Rally, so maybe there was a chance right there to at least apply some good harassment, but at the end, Rally's going to be fine, and not much else coming out as a result of that. I do want to clarify, this is the round of 4 here, or the semifinals, so just a heads up. I know it says a round of 8 there on the graphic, so just a quick look over at Pamit, and I think he's aware now. We'll be good. But again, just to update on that. Other lanes, going back to the top lane, you mentioned you expect Flux to start pulling ahead here at this top matchup, and that's most certainly taking place. 26-12 now, compared to Scout, who's still only sitting at 11-0. Working on a quicker Abyssal Skull, it looks like, as he does have even the Trinket of Restoration now picked up, so see if he manages to get that early on. But yeah, I mean, back to this bottom lane though. Nox is only 10 creep kills. It's 22-12 of Magmus. That is good, but they're not getting any kills out of this. If you think they don't get any hero kills out of this, do you think it's a lost lane in the end, no matter how good Magmus does, or?
No, I think if Magmus gets enough farm, that'll be enough for them to be happy with this lane. But here we go, Pew's going to be initiated on.
Well, that right as I say it, they probably are going to get the kill, and sure enough, Bloodlust kill. Chepe playing the engineer right there, picks it up. So I guess kind of the Castos curse somewhat coming into play right there. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Rally being jumped on. The ultimate from Lowstone on top of the head smash. And as we say every single time, that Shadow Storm head smash combination, man, oh man, it just melts you. So at least they get the counter kill. But Bloodlust kill was in favor of Donkey Kong at least. That going for them.
Certainly was, and Magmus finishing those Steam Boots, and Nox still sitting on about only 11 creep kills, so they just really able to get much going at all. Speaking of going, it looks like Ophelia's coming in with the Catman champion. This could be the cue to go.
You see right there, doing some good micro. He actually will hit Engineer. Nice keg stun, though. Magmus stuns back in. Master of Arms is here. Who are they going to lock down? Will it be Nox? They're going for Nox. Can they actually get the kill? Magmus coming in. The health push is going to be applied. Only gets one take out of it, really. Nox being locked, and it gets ported back, though. Great port back initially. Heard it come out. We eventually see it take place. Aluna still being chased back. Aluna is at least going to be picked off here in favor of Donkey Kong, but the big hero in Nox playing the Gemini was able to get back at least. So it was a good initial idea. Again, good microing coming out from Ophelia, sending the Catman champion one way, her going the other. But still, better play from Donkey Kong, and they do get the kill onto Luna. So well played, as Nox also did have to regen, obviously, that whole time. Eventually making its way back, but a one fight there by Donkey Kong.
Yeah, certainly. I think they can be pretty happy how this trial lane has progressed. 2 kills. Now, Magmus is about 300 gold per minute, so hasn't had like complete free farm, but definitely very healthy in terms of GPM, so gotta be happy with that. And Ophelia, with trying to set up so many ganks, has really fallen pretty far behind. Only level 4, about 7 minutes. Certainly not where you want to be. Just all these failed ganks and failed initiations have really cost them in the middle lane. Maybe trying to set up a kill on Lodestone, but Lodestone has Steam Boots already and 1200 health. So I don't know if this is really possible. Yeah, Master Arms is like, this is a waste of time. Gonna go back bottom. So Legion does have lane control in the bottom lane for the time being. I think they're gonna lose it here. But Nox got a little bit of farm in the meantime, so about 18 creep kills now. He's not doing too bad. So take a look at Flux. Flux actually has 50 creep kills, so he's actually dominating this top lane. Bass, it's kind of what you would expect. Flux is one of those very powerful solo heroes. So 23-0 compared to a 15-18 in 8 minutes. 50 creep kills at 8 minutes is pretty freaking good.
Well, I also want to touch on a couple things with Flux. Speaking of, I mean, not only did he get the ultimate at level 6, but he does also get that 1 point in a polarity swap. And I know we've talked about that in the past with a Flux. You know, we've seen that in different styles. That some choose to pass it up altogether. Others choose for that 1.1 wonder here. It looks like in this case, that's what obviously Captain Lowell decided to go for here at that top lane. Middle lane in the meantime, Master of Arms ports in. Scout saw him though. He's sitting here with the Vanish this whole time. They're going to try to maybe jump Master of Arms out to the side. Lowstone's running up. The Shadow Storm is actually nice blast shot away. And she dodges right there. Flux pushes them all away. What the hell just happened? Magma's coming in right now. Can they actually get the stun off? That's not going to happen. If Flux pulled there, maybe a different story, but obviously he was pushing just simply to save their teammates. Magnus, you might want to think about maybe turning around. He's going to still go, though, and I don't know about this decision. He needs to be really careful. He does have Rally coming in with the invis, so that's actually why he's probably feeling so confident. But in the end, that's how it's going to finish, or is it? Nox now. Nox is the one in trouble. He has those Twin Fangs, or the Twin Fangs ability. Will he need to use it is the question. I think he will. Engineer's coming over. There's a Rally stun. The seismic side. Boom! Goes on Dynamite. The kicks, and no, it's disjointed right there by the Twin Fangs. And Nox will survive, so just a half a second late at least coming out. But that all started with the middle lane, remember. That was a failed gank by xCet.
Yeah, it certainly was. It is I don't really blame Engineer too much there. It is kind of an awkward relationship in terms of the seismic slam and the keg. So you saw what he was going for. He was waiting, so I'm sure the seismic slam hit, because ultimately they would need that damage to kill him. But I don't know, maybe like a millisecond earlier, it could have worked. So pretty tough game. Engineer, actually speaking of which, is going to port to the middle lane, and they were the one to defend this tower. It's very low though, Breaky.
Yeah, he's tried, but yeah, not able to do so. Magnus takes the Skeleton King stun right there. They want to go for a few. There's the max range distance coming out. The Kex on top of it. I don't know if it's going to be a kill though. In fact, it could be a Catacomb. Magnus, he started channeling the ultimate initially, but he quickly ran as he realized that was actually going to be a dumb decision. I mean, it's a better decision to run right there. It's just unfortunate that he used that big cooldown. In the meantime, Rally coming in. Scout thinking about finishing him off. Electric Eye goes out by Rally. Wants to go to feel a nice stun from Lodestone, though. Rally disarms, or gets disarmed by Scout right there, and that will be the end of that. Now, while this is happening, Nox is at least able to pick up some decent farm down here. At the bottom lane, going to apply some pressure to the tower even. So buying some time at least for Gemini, as Ophelia does live in the end, so that's good news.
Yeah, he's starting to recover for sure. 31 creep kills at this point after them kind of getting overwhelmed a little in this bottom lane. It's definitely very respectable. Only 200 GPM, but he really didn't have a whole lot to work with. So starting to recover here, and Gemini definitely can. I mean, he's got the Twin Breath for farming, and they're going to have lane control in this bottom lane. Here's the problem about aggressive tri-lanes is once you get to a certain point, when all the solo heroes, the jungler, have their levels, and eventually your wards fall, it's very hard to sustain or justify being in this bottom lane without being so worried about getting ganked. So they do have some pretty good wards to give them a lot of vision. And speaking of wards, Pew has a ward here that's going to give them a lot of great vision. So Rally trying to set up a kill, but that ward going to ruin his day. But yeah, I'm not doing a pretty good job here. I mean, the Hellborn team is still down here. They feel confident enough to stay down here, but you know, I'd like to see a rotation maybe from the Legion team to secure their bottom lane and then let their carry, you know, begin to recover.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of just hitting me more and more, but you do look at Donkey Kong's lineup here, and it's pretty evident that this is a lineup that's really all about more of that earlier game stage. Now, they're going to go to Gemini right here. Seismic Slam. No, the Ophelia Seal comes out. The Rally also took a stun right there. This dive is not going to work out. Gemini with the response. Lowstone coming in with a Shatter Storm. Rally is going to end up taking the brunt of that. He will fall. Magnus goes down as well. And again, the dive just not the best decision coming out right there. Flux had his ulti through all of that, but just could not find the opportunity to use it, I guess. Whether or not that was just because they're already pretty much at the edge of the map or whatnot, but they're going to now counter push this bottom lane. But the point I was getting at, and that makes what even happened right there that much worse, is there's really no carry presence at all here on the Hellborn side. I mean, Master of Arms, he's playing really even that main support, even the secondary support, but both playing in the part of that trial lane. They're not getting any farmer levels at this rate at least, so it's not good that Donkey Kong just lost that fight right there, as bad as they did.
No, it's certainly not. I'd like to see Flux participate in these team fights. I feel like he's a hero that, you know, he usually can win his lane. You can count on him for that. And then, you know, you can count on him for having kind of a shaky presence in the team fight, even if he's not there. I mean, the pull, sure, can be great, but it's not the most reliable spells in terms of helping out. But I would like to see him. I mean, I think he's going to pick up the portal key really soon, and then I would really like to see him rotate some of these other lanes and try and at least set up kills or participate a little more. Because, like you said, the later this game goes, and if they're not really far ahead, it's going to be quite difficult to come back. And wow, Lodestone already picking up the portal key. He's like 13 minutes. Certainly had some pretty good farm here. He's only got 350 gold per minute, but still certainly enough for him to get an early portal key. And speaking of Lodestone, probably going to be in a lot of trouble here. Will he be able to live, actually? He's still alive at holes.
Are you kidding me? Oh, Flux pulls. They want this kill. I can't blame them. Will they get it? Ophelia comes in. No, they will not. The lockdown on a rally. Compel is up now. He's locked up with the Skeleton King. So he stuns away. He barely falls, and he does fall. Pew gets credit for the kill right there. Luna Power, though, does the job in the end. That's got to sting, man. I mean, Lodestone, tanky as he is, they got the great jump on it. Brodex 5, he even saw that coming. I mean, he knew that was coming with this electric guy, but he was still standing his ground, and he barely lived, and it sets up the turnaround kill into rally. Again, that has got to sting if you're Donkey Kong right there. And now we see the Energizer picked up by Gemini. Yeah, that portal key, it needs to come quick here by Flux. And on top of that, Engineer's still not level 6. I mean, he's got to be close at this point, but obviously that's a big reason why you pick up these combo of heroes is for that synergy factor right there. So they need to make that work is really what it's going to start coming down to now in the big picture. Scout being a little crafty, hanging on the outskirts of the tower right there. Pick up the courier maybe? Nope, marksman's shot, going to channel. Keep them guessing here if anything. But, man, Engineer not being level 6 yet, this hurts. A big fight's coming up. If he was level 6, maybe a different story, but...
yeah, certainly. I think it would be a pretty big deal. Magnus, though, his farm has really dropped off as well. I mean, I expected him with kind of free farm to bottom lane to have a lot more farm, and he's still about 600 gold away from his portal key. I believe Flux just picked up his, so they're all grouped up in this top lane, and this is the kind of lineup where if you get behind versus a hero like Gemini, it's just really bad news. And I mean, Legion have a pretty good capability of fighting even 4v5 at this point. Ophelia has recovered in terms of her farm really well, got the Astrolabe and the heal on level 8 online. Oh, speaking of online, here we go.
Oh, Magnus. Magnus getting a little ballsy right there. Rally says, I got you. Don't worry about how he's in no man's land. The rest of the team in the background again. Engineer not level 6 just yet. I would not know if you'd be looking to pick fights here if you're this Helmet team with no level 6 Engineer. Flux trying to push them away, knocking them out of the end. Magnus channeling that eruption. He's got a beautiful eruption on top of the release, and that was some great combination coming out right there. Rally Compel coming out. Will it be enough in the end? Probably not, though. Scout chasing out Rally. Rally's going to go down. Magnus trying to avoid death. The rocket shield stuns him, though, on the TP. He will fall. We are going to maybe see a genocide here. Fluxen maybe can get away, actually. Portal key, yes, he'll use it in time, and he'll be fine. So it's not a genocide, but it ends up being a 4-for-2 exchange in the end. So again, no level 6 Engineer. Tried to pick a fight right there. The starting even wasn't the best. And Team Excellent comes out on top, and now they're going to counter push at the top side. Gemini all of a sudden is level 11, and he's farming 310 gold per minute, so he's recovered.
Yeah, he certainly has. I mean, that was a fantastic eruption. I don't think he could have asked for a better ultimate from Magnus there, but just still was not enough. And yeah, their supports are so underleveled, man. They really just can't offer much at all. And it's compared to an Ophelia with the heal, the Astrolabe, and of course all the creep support. So the supports definitely, the difference there is quite obvious. I think it's making a pretty big difference in these team fights. So yeah, Rally also, by the way, only 137 gold per minute. This is your solo mid in 17 minutes, and it's not like he was up against, you know, a tough matchup or anything. It was quite even. So he's just spent so much time running around trying to set up kills and failing that his farm is drastically suffered. I mean, 136 gold per minute as solo mid, that's just kind of almost unacceptable. Bottom lane though, Lodestone does have an invis in his bottle, but okay, he just I think he could have just used it while he was an Engineer ult. He jumped out of the ult and was perplexed, so he couldn't use the invis, so bit of a misplay there from Brodex. Maybe overestimating how tanky he was, considering he survived that gank earlier. Wouldn't be too surprised if he was a little surprised that he couldn't tank that. But yeah, Nox picked up a light brand here, so expect his farm to continue to grow, and I mean, that's just bad news for the Hellborn. They have no carry. They're really underfarmed on so many of their supports, and almost 7k, 5k after having such a great start.
Yeah,
it's pretty unfortunate for them to be down so hard right now.
I was also looking around for the dust situation and whatnot. They do have dust here on Engineer, and actually locked onto the Scout. Again, again, though, he's not going to be able to chase. Vanish comes out, and Scout will be fine. Engineer's running over. Will he maybe try to guess a dust? He would. Okay, did he get caught? Yes, he got caught by the dust right there. Master Bomb chasing. Charge Shot comes out. Flux coming in. Has a magnetic surge, but couldn't get close enough. Scout is going to be fine in the end. He's running all the way to the base even. Flux finds him. Release comes out. xCet, it does connect. The turret, no. The Ophelia's touch going to be used, though. Do they have anything else? No revs, though. Scout's going to be fine. The dust is worn out on Engineer now. That was his final dust at that point. Whew. Oh, as I'm getting at that, that was a good chance there for the Hellborn team to get a nice pick, but Bassett survives. And I mean, that goes back to also what you're kind of talking about with the 1v1s. I mean, again, Scout had a difficult time against Flux as I picked up, but all of a sudden he's at level 11 now with 300 gold per minute. He's got an Abyssal, Skull Ghost Marchers, and even on his way, well, with the Mighty Blade could be an assortment of things, but from the Shrunken to even a Brutalizer, that's to be a pickup we see every now and then on him, but yeah,
Shrunken definitely priority this game.
Yeah,
when there's just Engineer, you pretty much want a Shrunken. Like, that's how good Energy Field is. But this game, with the Flux especially, just all the AoE, it's got to be a huge priority for Scout especially. So, yeah, he has recovered quite nicely though. 3-0-1, definitely contributing to having got 300 gold per minute. And you know, unlike Rally was running around looking for kills but couldn't find any. But yeah, Scout has been true to his name, scouting around and finding kills. He's actually going to spot them doing a triple stack Ancient. Q is close by. And he's going to go for the snipe. Holy crap, he stole like 3 little ones.
They dusted him, so they know he's here. Kek's not going to miss right there. Rally not able to get close enough for Compel, so even though he's dusted, that Vanish still increases his move speed quite a bit, as we see there on top of the Ghost Marchers, so he's easily able to escape. Coming back in, they're going to try to finish these off fastest. He's going to try to be crafty. Nice power throw right there. Although I don't think it hit in the end. Scott gonna try to steal one maybe. Yeah, he gets one there, and actually the team is coming in as a whole. Rally trapped. He doesn't have his Compel. Defensive Master's Call gonna come out though. That just delays the inevitable. Flux pulls him away, but he falls in the end. So a couple of ultimates used right there. They're not the longest cooldowns necessarily, but they're not gonna be up here. And Lodestone takes out Magnus in a 1 versus 1. It looks like, look at how low Lodestone got. But he gets the kill in the end. Bottom tower kill also gonna happen. It's a lot of momentum being picked up here by Team Excellent, unfortunately for Donkey Kong once again. I don't know if they have much left in them at this point. I mean, it's going to be about that wombo combo here. They're 100% relying on that, it's safe to say, to come through at this point.
They certainly are. I mean, the top team fight, it showed a little bit of promise, and
yeah,
it's just unfortunate because their laning phase went so well. Just a couple of poor decisions, like when they dove bottom and just got counter-killed, and it's just, I don't know, not using the map perhaps too effectively as well in terms of resources. Just a couple of things just kind of snowballed into this huge lead for the Legion team. So yeah, Nox actually at 360 gold per minute. I mean, we've kind of been talking about him a lot, but it's mostly the other heroes like the Lodestone and the Scout, and even Ophelia to an extent, that have kind of brought Excellent back into this game. So Hellborn team, a little desperate, I think. Are going to group in the middle lane. Flux actually picked up a bolstering armband, so probably working towards something like a Frostwolf Skull. Pretty standard build for Flux, but here we go, Ricky.
Shadowstorm initiation. Flux being pulled in. There's the Engineer ultimate, but Flux absolutely locked down. Could not get his own ulti off. Magnus channeling that eruption in the background. He's going to get a pretty good eruption off right here. Scout's taking a lot of damage. The Ophelia's touch. The Astrolabe comes out, though. He's going to be fine. He's even going back in for damage. Flux did bite back, by the way. He still has that discharge. He's going to use it right here. No, he's locked down. There's the discharge coming out. He pushes them all the way. Release going to be used, but the power throw from Luna snipes him down, and he will fall. You see Rally barely away from Scout. He was going to live as well, but you could tell right there. I mean, Donkey Kong knows that they're behind, and they tried to make something happen, but the lockdown onto Flux really screwed them that fight.
Yeah, power throw actually came out just barely, didn't kill Rally, like 20 HP or something in the base right at the well, so he will barely survive, but yeah, certainly one team fight by the Legion team. You saw the Magma Cell pretty much nullified completely by the Ophelia heal and Astrolabe on the Scout, eventually saving him. And yeah, just unfortunately for Hellborn, they don't really have a whole lot to look forward to in terms of the game progressing. So it's going to be tough. You know, they do have that wombo combo. It's, you know, it's kind of like when you have a Tempest, you're not always out of the game, but it's going to take some pretty monumental screw-ups from the Legion team to even have a chance of losing at this point. So we'll have to see if somebody can throw really hard. Maybe Nox, he usually does.
Well, he's giving his best effort up here, but no, he is going to obviously easily get away. Uses the Energizer after the Twin Fangs, and not much they can do to chase him, so... Yeah, just trying to find those opportunities that pushed up, maybe catch them off guard. Brutalizer, by the way, was finished on Scout, so he decides to go that route. With the mighty blade that he had initially, is it going to be a Dawnbringer on Nox? Again, known for at least the Searing Lightly. The Dawnbringer, maybe not as much. It seems like he's kind of been straying away from that as what used to be the absolute every single time it seemed like we saw. But 3,000 more gold saved up on Fine, by the way, playing Ophelia, so he's got his great support items. Plated Greaves, Astrolabe, Ring of Sorcery. All those activated.
I think you should just get Barrier Idol. There's no way they'll kill anyone.
Yeah.
Literally no way. So.
That's true. If he gets that,
oh,
then
Storm Spirit.
Storm Spirit.
I don't really agree with that. There's not a whole lot of single target damage, so
True.
In terms of saving someone that gets initiated on, it's probably not going to be that helpful. There's the Dawnbringer.
There it is.
Just picked up.
That's what we like to see from Nox.
It's coming soon. So Hellborn team gonna aggressively push this bottom tower, and here we go.
Oh jeez.
Magnus?
Magnus not in a good spot. Steam Bath, he's like, guys, I'm not here anymore. I'm not here. He's going to stun out actually Portal Key. He will be fine. Tower gets denied. Well played. Hellborn team, they still want him to have action happen though. Magnus jumping back in. Silence coming out. Master Bomb's locked down. Energy field down here. Flux pulls him in. That's actually a pretty good placement right there. Magnus though, he's being locked down. He needs to channel that eruption. He's channeling it right here. He gets killed though just before it goes off. Rally in the meantime now on the run. He's going to be picked up and the chase continuing here in favor of Team Excellence. So I mean, they got the Wombo combo to an extent, but Magnus, they really needed they needed more damage. They needed the Magnus Eruption at least to have even a chance. But even so, still might not have been enough. So, at least we get to see it somewhat come together, but obviously not working out for Donkey Kong. But again, I will say, I mean, you look back at the laning phase, the decision in general to send the tri-lane bottom, and you know, you made the point, definitely agree with you that maybe Rally instead of the Magnus might have made a little more sense, but the laning phase didn't go horribly by any means, but for Donkey Kong, they played it actually pretty well. It's just as they kind of started to transition out of that. Flux maybe wasn't as involved as you would have liked to see early on in the game, despite the levels and whatnot. And especially the solos for Excellent. You talk about Scout and Lodestone. They really started to advance as that game progressed on, and maybe even became the biggest factors, you could say. So, not much else to it. Riser, anything else about game number 1 there?
No, I think you pretty much covered. They had a fantastic laning phase, just the transition towards afterwards. It seemed like they really struggled. Just a couple of mistakes. Snowballed pretty much completely out of control. But yeah, excellent showing off. I think they're the more experienced team here, and yeah, well played.
Well played, well played. With that said, as always, going to take another short break right here, but we should have game number 2 coming up just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. So Team Excellent taking on Donkey Kong here. We got game number 2 in this best out of 3. This is the Ultimate Series Pyromancer Tournament semifinal. Stay tuned.